So question 10 from your mocks is a trigonometry question, and it looks as so. Basically, Ali used a clinometer to measure the angle of elevation to the top of a tree in his garden. So a clinometer is a device used in geography. You might use it in your leaving cert, where you can hold it in your hands and you can measure an angle to the top of something. So when Ali looks up using his clinometer, he gets an angle of 36 degrees to the top of the tree. And he drew a diagram to illustrate the data he gathered. And then part A, so a couple of things. Supposed to note what height Ali is. Ali is 1.3 meters. Then there's the rest of the height of the tree. Remember, the total tree is the total height here. And the distance from the base, the foot of the tree, to Ali is 15 meters. And of course, that's going to be from here to here is going to be 15 meters. I hope you're spotting a right angle triangle in there. We won't be able to do these questions. So the top of the tree is at a height of X meters above Ali's eye line. Use the right angle triangle in the diagram. Not that easy to see it, but it is there to write tan of 36 a fraction in terms of X. So what I did here, first of all, spot the right angle in there. Then I start off labeling my triangle. Hypotenuse, opposite, adjacent. Hypotenuse is always across from the right angle. Then my reference angle in this question is the 36 degrees. The side opposite that is my opposite side. There's my opposite, and then the one that's left over, I always feel a bit sorry for him. No choice, is the adjacent. Okay, so after that in these questions, you do your trig ratio mnemonic that you remember. Silly old Harry, call a hurry, throwing off Ackle. We're only interested in tan there. We're only interested in tan, so you need to know that tan of the angle is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. So the reference angle that we're using here is the 36, that's why it's down here. So tan of 36 is equal to the opposite side of the adjacent. The opposite is X and the adjacent is 15, and that is your answer in that question there, X over 15. So that is part A done. Right, we'll move on to part B. Part B then says use your calculator to find the value of tan of 36 degrees. Give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. You want to all check in your calculator, but the tan of 36 is 0.726542. The question does say give your answer correct to 2 decimal places. So identify the second decimal place, which is there, like after the decimal place, first, second. It just coincidentally happens to be the number 2 also. There's the second place. Now my answer is going to be 0.72 or 0.73. What decides that? Look at the digit on the right. 5 to 9. Climb the vine. So we end up with 0.73 as our answer there. That's part B. Part C, use trigonometry to work out the value of X. Give your answer correct to the nearest meter. So you'll notice I've left the blank top blank here. And the reason for that is from part A, you got tan of 36 is equal to X over 15. So we need to work out what X is. And before I do that, I'll show you a quick aside here. So watch this. It'll blow your mind, as Henry Danger would say. X is equal to 10. I'm going to divide both sides by 2. When I do that, I can't clean this fella up anymore. I'm going to get left with X over 2, but I can clean this fella up. 10 divided by 2 is 5. Now, watch this. Anytime I have a fraction, if I want to try and I'm solving or I'm carrying out an equation, I've got an equation. If I want to get rid of that fraction, I can multiply by its denominator to get rid of it. So watch what happens. There's the 2. That's my denominator. I'm going to multiply that side by 2, right? And I will be left with the bit on top. But if I multiply one side by 2, I must multiply the other side by 2 to balance it out. Right, you'll notice I've left that one full because that's the reason why I'm multiplying by 2. I've left this one dotted because I'm just repeating the same thing to both sides. And you're back where you were, 2 5s are 10. Right, go again. Here's another one. Y is equal to 40. Let me divide both sides by 5. Now I've got, when I tidy this up, y over 5 stays the same. 40 divided by 5 becomes 8. Okay? Again, I've got a fraction. I want to get rid of that fraction. I look at the denominator. I multiply this side by its denominator, by 5. And I will get left with the bit on top. It's a bit like killing the fraction, I like to call it. If I multiply one side by 5, I multiply the other side by 5, I'm back where I was. And one more for good measure here. 100 equals k. I'm going to divide both sides by 20. Doing that, I'm going to get 100 divided by 20 is 5, but k divided by 20 is still just k divided by 20. However, now I'm in an equation, I want to get rid of this fraction. What do? I look at the denominator, I multiply this side by its denominator by 20, and I get left with k. But if I multiply one side by 20, I must balance it out by multiplying the other side by 20, and I'm back where I was. Why am I showing you this? Because this is where we have an equation. We look at this, we've got a fraction on the right hand side. We want to get rid of that 15 and be left with x. So watch what happens. There's my denominator. I multiply by the denominator, which is 15. I get left with the bit that's on top. If I multiply one side by 15, I multiply the other side by 15. I get my calculator, I put into it 15 by tan of 36, and I get, correct to the nearest metre. Remember now, watch, identify the last part, the whole number part there, which is the 0. Look at the digit to the right, and 5 to 9, climb the vine. You're at 11 metres. Okay, I'll go back on this again in a second. So now the last part. One of you was wondering, how do you get the height of the tree? Let's look at our original diagram. We're after working out the value of x to be 11 metres. And I hope you can see now how you calculate the height of the tree there. The overall height, what is it? It's 11 metres plus 1.3, 12.3 metres.